All right, guys, part 9 of The Monster I Married. So, February starts to wrap up, and during this time, throughout February, I've caught my husband in quite a few lies. He's getting up and going to work at normal time. And then I'm finding out later that he's called into work. One weekend in particular, I remember he said, I'm picking up a clipboard shift. Swing shift, I'll be gone 2 to 10. About 5 p.m., one of my sons and I are out in public and we see him. And my son says, hey, there's Dad. He comes over and I say, what are you doing here? Oh, I got let go early. He didn't say anything. Oh, well, I wasn't going to say anything. I was just going to come home. Okay. I'm pissed, but I've got a kid with me, so I'm not going to say anything. So he says, I'm checking out and then I'm heading home. Kid and I are out for 2 or 3 hours, shopping and such. I still beat him home. So when I get home, I say, hello, where are you? Like, how is it even possible that I beat you home if you were going directly home from where we just saw you hours ago? I'm on my way. So when I confront him about these inconsistencies, he tries to make me think I'm crazy. I'm controlling. I'm controlling. I'm being controlling, and why am I so concerned about his whereabouts? As if we're not married. I'll never forget the pompous way he said to me, you shouldn't be worried about my whereabouts. Excuse me again. So, I had been invited out with some of my acquaintances several times. So I decide, my husband has said, go spend time with your friends, do you, right? I ended up, I went on a beach trip, weekend beach trip, and a couple other things, dinner here and there with these people. And I remember being so afraid to even leave the house because we had gotten to the point where I was worried that if I wasn't there, that the boy's basic needs weren't going to be met because he was so completely checked out. What he wanted was for me to be unavailable, doing something out with my friends so that he could be out doing what he wanted to be doing. That's what it was. He didn't give a shit about me having a social life or me having friends. He just wanted me to be busy so I wouldn't be questioning his whereabouts. What I would say, you get off at 5 o'clock. He worked less than 2 miles up the road. And he's not getting home until 7 or 7:30. And all I would say was, can you please let me know when you're going to be late? When you come home dictates how the evening goes. Am I going to make a dinner? Am I going to, if you're not going to be home until 7:30, because I, at the time, am going to work at 4 a.m. So I'm going to bed between 8 and 9. So I'm like, can you please let me know? I say over and over and over, can you please let me know when you're going to be that late? And I also know that there's not an excuse in the world for him to be that late, because when he had surgery, back surgery, which he would not have been able to have without my support, by the way, when he had back surgery in 2023, when he went back to work, I spent months picking him up because he couldn't drive. It wasn't advisable. I picked him up, and promptly at 5 o'clock, everybody in that building leaves. Promptly. So why are you not getting home until 7, 7:30, 8, 8:30? Why is that happening? Right? But I'm crazy. So I go out. I've also said, to him, I've noticed that, again, this was not the norm, now it is. If I don't reach out, if I don't make the effort, no matter what that looks like, if I don't make the effort, there is no effort, right? If I don't text you, and I know you're on your phone all day, like all day. I would see where he would be sending videos, 30-minute increments throughout the day. I'm so busy, Rachel. I'm so busy at work. You can't imagine how busy I am. But yet at 8:05, 8:21, 8:52, you're texting, sending video, like throughout the day. So I said, there's no effort from you at all, like not at all. And I forget exactly what he said. It was more of, more gaslighting and more manipulating me into thinking that I was crazy. That's exactly what was happening. So I decide to pull back. And immediately, within a day, I realized I am right. I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy. If I don't say, hey, when are you going to be home? He's not going to let me know. If I don't say, hey, do you want to call me on your lunch? Or, these are things that we used to do. We used to check in with each other. We used to be in pretty consistent communication. But days and then weeks now are going by where there is no communication. So I let him know this is when this starts, the trigger of everything that was to come. I let him know the beginning of March that I have some health concerns, some pretty big ones. And, oh God, I really don't know if I'm going to be able to get through this. Fuck. All right, so I'm not going to be able to get through it. These next 2 months end up being the most horrific, darkest time in my life. And I end up going through it completely alone. So, I don't want to be a loser that cries on camera. I'm going to just breeze through it and give you the most important details. I say I've got some pretty worrisome health concerns. I will say, I will give him this. Because we already were not communicating, and because things were so bad, that first week when I go to the doctor and I find out what's going on, there was some miscommunication there. I don't believe it could have been. I don't believe it was deliberate for him to not be there for me during this 1 week, even through the text messages. And we tried to sort it out later in therapy, and it's still we just kept circling, and it was miscommunication. But I end up having one of my acquaintances, still at this point, we're not even really good friends, take me to have some testing done and take me to have a biopsy. And all right, guys, I've tried several times. I'm not going to be able to do it. I spend all of March and all of April thinking that I might die. Go to part, 9, 10, I don't know. Go to the next one.